What's up? What's up? What's up? How y'all doing? Uh, Look at us. All right, I'm trying to get myself together. Okay, this is first time on video in a long time. Um, Welcome to the All the Best podcast. I am your host, Sean Bone. This is podcast number 3. I'm trying to see, are we level? I don't think we're level, but I don't know. I've never really sat straight, you know. So we're just gonna hope that it's good to go. Um, Man, I did like a take of this before. I won't front, so it's like kind of trying to recall that and piece together something original again, you know. Holding this mic close to the face to make sure you can hear me. Um, what I was talking about in the first iteration of this video was um, feelings about being seen, and I guess it kind of ties into even what I just said as far as being on camera for the first time in a long time, especially in this sort of a format, um, and how awkward that can be, and for some of the reasons why that might be, you know. I know for me personally, hang on, let me see if I can improve the lighting just a bit. Golly, that's bright. Does that work? I mean, you could definitely see me better, but dear God, I feel like you can see through me. You know what I mean? Then I would have to pause this or stop this in order to fix that. So we're just gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it and call it good. Maybe we can get this backlight to match. That's better. I think that's best. It looks a little more cohesive now, you know, like I did this on purpose or something. Um, but yeah, I'm also trying not to curse, so this is rough. Um, I like my curse words, you know, they flavor a conversation. Um, and I believe that YouTube suppresses videos that are marked not for children, and that's what I put my last two as because you know I'm cursing and I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? Give me a chance. Give a girl a chance. So, um, I just had this urge to be like, look what I made, and I did. I made this candle. But that's not why we're here, okay? Why are we here, Shoni? Get to the point. Um, I don't even know, man. I'm just happy to be on camera. I like my desk being in the background. You can kind of see like some of the postcards that one of my friends sends me. I'm trying to see if I can get my finger over there. That's one of the postcards. Those are some of my little sculptures. My Batman pencil case, globe. Uh, what is this? Clay roller and a painting that I did back there that I know is going to be on like a future episode, but we're just here with what we got for right now, right? So let's see if we can actually find some substance to this conversation. You know what I'm thinking about? And this may veer off track from where we were before. I'm touching a sailboat that I never finished, and it looks wild, but I think it could become like a key holder or something. Here, I'll show it to you so you're not just staring at my armpit. Look at this. It just looks like a fleshy something, you know? I don't even know what to call this bad boy. It was supposed to be a ship, a little sailboat. Don't look like that, you know? But it be like that sometimes. Um, Man, I guess one thing that I can talk about is, and it kind of ties back into the. Anyway, I am medically retired through the Marine Corps. I have been retired since I was 26, so it's been like 8 years of being retired. And it's always a very interesting conversation, or that sparks interesting conversations with other people about, you know, what do I do with my day? How do I fill my time? And, you know, in my head, it makes sense. My life makes complete sense to me. You know, the slowness and the pace that it's at right now makes sense to me. The way I feel it with, you know, whether it's art or just laying down. You see, caught myself. Um, or it's like going for a hike, or reading a book, or anything that I feel like doing in that moment. But I think so many people consider those to be like weekend hobbies, when I find the time to do so hobbies, and not what can make up the totality of a life. That when you tell them, or when you think about your life and what it is that you're actually doing with it, and at least for me, trying to measure it up to the expectations of other people, or common societal conversations about it, like it just doesn't add up. um, an example of this is I went to the VA a couple weeks ago for an X-ray, and the guy there, he's medically retired too, or whatever, but he's there, he's still working and everything. And he was like, so what do you do with your time? And I'm like, I don't know, I hate getting that question, man, because I think so many people want you to fill in that space with, like, a full schedule, and like something to justify having all that free time. And you know, whenever I sit back and I reflect on that question, my answer to it is I do my best. And why can't that be enough? Um, I think we all are doing our best, and I'm so exhausted of you know uh, what we do and how we spend our time and everything else being the markers of how we gauge one another, when getting to know someone or just in conversation in general. Because I am never going to live a socially, societally acceptable life ever again. I don't yearn for a normal people job. I, with my disabilities, as well as just with my personality and who I am to the core of me, it's just not something that I can do anymore. So, it just leaves the question of, how fully am I willing to show up? How authentically am I willing to show up as myself, doing whatever it is that I do in that moment? Because just like I don't have a concrete answer for, like, oh, I'm in school or I have this job or whatever, like even the art or the hobbies or things that I interest myself in, they change regularly. There are projects and things that I've started years ago that, um, I might pick up later because that's when the attention towards them feels right. And there are other things that, I may never pick up again. They just needed to be tried. They needed to, get worked out or have that effort towards them. So I don't know, man. A revolving door of it all. Who knows? I'm just trying to live and do my best with it. I was having a conversation with a friend. I know I'm supposed to get back to a VA conversation. I'm gonna get back to that. But I was having a conversation with a friend where we check in, a couple times a year. And she was asking me, like, if I was still in school and everything. And I was like, nah, I haven't been in school in a hot minute, which is true. So, of course, it drums up the question of, like, what are you doing with your time? And that was another thing I think that really made me want to discuss it right now. And, I had the urge to lie, because the last time that we spoke, I was doing this UX course. And, I did it for a while, but I haven't picked it up in a hot minute. Like, I haven't gotten back to it. Um, just because I'm starting to learn, at least specifically for me, when something starts feeling heavy, or there's like a lot of resistance towards actually doing it, then it's probably not meant for me, whether that's period or at that time. And I felt so much resistance when trying to complete that course. So, I tabled it. But again, that's always something that's easier to talk about than me just being like, I just be vibing. Sometimes I have days where I'm just tired and I be laying down, you know what I'm saying? Um, Sometimes I just be sitting outside, hanging out with my pets, enjoying nature. And uh, I don't know. I think there's been so many different things in my life, so many. I could bring it towards like astrology, because that's like the tangent that my brain is on right now. Is like my Chiron is in Leo in my first house, which is also my ascendant or my rising. And, Chiron is the wounded healer. So one of my biggest wounds is all about being seen and showing up as my fullest self and feeling confident in my expression. And I've had so many people in life kind of want to diminish that, or want me to be quiet, or edit myself down until I'm palatable for other people. I've even had that when I was in school at SCAD. And academic creative critique is a different ball game, you know. Um, and then having to like find my way back to trusting my voice and feeling comfortable in what it is that I have to say for myself, you know. And it's all been a process. I'm still going through it. Like even this is an experiment, if you will. Like I know that I want to speak. I know that that's something that I want to do. I enjoy the sound of my own voice, all of that. But it's like, how comfortable can I feel in speaking? How comfortable can I feel in showing up in this way, you know, and continuing to do so? I think that's what I was saying, but I kind of got sidetracked by like a motorcycle going back. It be like that. It really do. Um, where was I going with this? Yeah, so being afraid of being seen and kind of having that fear reinforced throughout life and then having to carve my way out of it and find my way back to like myself, authentic expression, all of that has been a journey and still is. And then being able to stand in that, stand in the authenticity of that when it comes to speaking to other people, because I'm very good at, you know, isolating and not talking to nobody for a good minute, you know. But it's like when you go out and you have to be motorcycle again. Um, it's like when you have to go out and be social and stuff, you know, everybody else is still, or a lot of people are still operating from that same, um, I don't know, operating system. Uh, that same, oh, what do you do? You know, trying to figure out what box to place you in. And I get it. It's something that makes us comfortable to be able to categorize things. But I think there's so much beauty in our uniqueness and our authenticity whenever we get to, you know, really express that. So I don't know, man. That's really what I'm focused on. Now, getting back to the other thought about the VA and everything else, um, I went in for an appointment. Oh man, this could be like a whole separate thing. Where are we at? 11 minutes? 12 minutes. I'll try to keep this quick. Um, when I first got retired, oh my God, even going through the process, this might need to be its own podcast because you know what? The hell with it. We're in it now. And that wasn't a curse word. I'm not counting it. Um, when I was going through the process of, you know, the medical board to get medically retired from the Marine Corps, which was a nightmare. Um, but, you know, so much of it was having to convince people that something was wrong because a lot of my disabilities aren't visible. Excuse me. So constantly having to convince other people that something is wrong, you know, epigenetics, whatever it is, you start believing it and like really hearing it, and then getting out and going into the VA and having to continuously harp on things and reiterate things and stuff like that. And advocating for yourself to get the proper help. But again, you know, when you're being told, yeah, you're broken for life, it's a wrap for you, homie. You know, it's like, bro, I was 26 at the time. What else am I supposed to do here? You know, am I just supposed to lay down and call it? And again, I think that can be another podcast because I have so many other thoughts on that. But what I will say about this now is, you know, I did get very good at advocating for myself and feeling defensive towards the system whenever something was wrong and feeling like, okay, well, I really need to, you know, get this checked out, harp on it, blah, blah, blah. And I had an appointment yesterday with something that I think was more precautionary, but I still went to it or whatever. And I had that urge bubble up inside of me to be like, but wait, but this, but that, are you sure? But this and that. And it's like, I'm just going to accept that everything is cool, at least in this specific regard. You know, I'm going to take that and walk away with it. And it's funny because, you know, even the appointment kind of came up very quickly and it was out of the blue. It wasn't something that I expected. And, you know, I sat there thinking about it like, okay, are we going to spiral about this? And we didn't. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to take that as a good sign. And even like, because I had a day in between and I was like, are we spiraling? It was like, nah, we just chilling. All was good. And then the appointment shows up. Like I slept well the night leading up to it. I went to the appointment, no issues. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt good in my body as I went to it. And, you know, even leaving it and then being like, yeah, we think you're cool. And I'm like, I bet, you know? So I don't know, man. I think that in itself, because what they set me up for that appointment for was something that could have been very serious, like life altering. And, you know, whether they missed something or not, I don't know. Not my problem right now, you know? Not my problem right now. If it comes up again, it comes up again. For right now, we're good to go, you know? And I take that. I'm going to hold on to it. Um, So I was going home and I felt like relieved as far as that went. And then we had a power outage. And I know this probably seems all over the place, but this is just where I am. Because you know what's going down in Gary, Indiana. And the little area that I'm in is predominantly black. And I was like, man, are we about to be like another one of them? And then, you know, I have all these thoughts about the apocalypse and everything else, as one does when the world is the way that it is. Um, my cat is calling. What's up, mamas? Come here, girl. Hi. What's up, thicky thick? Hi, baby. Come here. What's the matter, sweet girl? That's your baby. I'll show you, thick girl, when we finish this. This is where we at, 15 minutes. I'm gonna try to wrap this up quick. So, thoughts about the apocalypse and all that. And my whole stance on it was like, bro, I'm not trying to play that game. You feel me? If it all starts going down, I'm gonna be like, bro, just take me. I'm not trying to endure that, you know? I'm gonna hold on as long as we can, me and my homies, me and my pets. And then I'm gonna just let nature take its course. Hi, baby. Hello. And then like having that power outage go down, and this is not to make light of the situation in Gary, because this I think is a very scary and harsh reality that a lot of us are facing, especially those who aren't prioritized socially, where, you know, we're having to put into perspective, like, do we need to start planning? Do we need to start stockpiling? Do we need to like adjust and get ourselves prepared? So, you know, even with the power being out, I have lanterns, I have flashlights, I have you know, weapons, all that kind of stuff, whatever is necessary, because, you know, there was like looting and stuff going on in Gary. And I don't know, man, I think I just got so triggered by all of that. And then, you know, the power did come back on, which was grateful, clearly, because we're lit up in this bad boy now. And it's funny because there was a point where, like, I think 3 transformers blew up, and the power came on for like 10 seconds and then like went right back out. So I was like, oh my God, we really in it, y'all. This is it. And I went around the house setting up like different kinds of lights and sensors. Boy, I had the weapons ready to go. And like as soon as I sat down and settled in, like just preparing my nervous system for war, essentially, the lights came back on. And afterwards, like, I crashed. I was hyped up on adrenaline. I crashed. Whole body went night-night. Didn't go to sleep for hours, but body was exhausted. So I don't know, man. I don't even know where all that was supposed to go. I think perhaps it's that there's this collective like fear that's going on right now, you know, because there's so much that we don't know, so much instability, so many things are changing. And that is a harsh reality to face, especially when it's becoming more dangerous to even eat our food, and harder to pay for ourselves and for our families. Where like even having pets seems like a luxury at this point. And you know, even as we're going about our days, just trying to live it the best that we can, those things still come up. Those things are still prevalent, you know? And I guess another thing about that is, regardless of how much I'm like, man, just take me out if things get real, you know, I was ready to fight for mine. You feel me? So I don't know, man. I don't know. Life is something, isn't it? I feel like I've rambled plenty. I don't know if there was any point to this. I hope it was at least a decent listen, you know? Yeah. 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 I think I'm going to do more of these video ones, unless you prefer the art ones. Right now, I think I'm just speaking into the void, which works for me. But sometimes I think I will be like doing other things. Like I might take you on a hike if I can find a mic while I'm walking around. Maybe my AirPods will be sufficient, but I used them for that first podcast, and baby, they heard everything. So I don't know. But I definitely want to like do this while walking and hiking and, you know, making art and stuff. So I'm sure it won't just be this setup of like my chaotic desk, but you'll probably see this more often than not. Even now I'm trying to be like, am I too close to the camera? Perhaps. Oh, look at that girl back there. Look at her. I got tea behind me that I didn't drink. It's probably cold. I don't know. What we at? 20 minutes? Yeah. This is a fair amount for this episode. Anyway, I'm rambling. Thanks for listening. Um, if you have any things that you want to discuss, topics, maybe you related to something in this as far as being brave and showing up as you are and feeling good enough in that, you know what I'm saying? Anything like that or anything that you want to discuss, I am down to clown. Anyway, thanks for listening. I'm going to play this back and figure out what the title is because as it stands, I have no idea. No, what did we even talk about? You know? No say. Okay. Take care of yourselves. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. And as always, all the best. Peace.